Hey, good evening, everybody. How are you? This is Freddie Ewan, two-time GM of the year, current Pantheon Cup champion, host of the TPFFKAL show. Halftime right now, a repeat of the Super Bowl from last year. My Eagles are down 14-7. It looks like right now. I got Mahomes in one league, but I already won that game, the TPFFKAL. I got Hurts and Smith in our league, and Mahomes going off. It looks like I'm going to lose that one. Fantasy football is in full effect 3 weeks before the playoff starts. We're going to get a special guest coming on here before you know it. I'm not going to tell you who, but I am going to send him a message and get him on here. I'm going to try to get one more guy on here, which I know is not going to come on here, but I'm going to try to get this guy on. Hoping that my Eagles can turn it around in the second half. Andy Reid is 4-0 against the Philadelphia Eagles. I just saw 4-0. Eagles just can't beat the Chiefs. Gonna be interesting. TPFFKAL finishing up. Looks like Neil is going to get a win. He's going to be able to beat out Bowser there. Neil is going to keep his playoff hopes slightly alive. Pretty banged up, though. Cooper Kupp hurt. He has got a high ankle sprain. That's going to be good news for Brian and Puka. Kenneth Walker, also a little banged up. Not sure on him yet. Going to give Charbonnet a chance to finally get some wheels. I drafted Charbonnet in a bunch of leagues. I thought Charbonnet was going to be playing like crazy by now, but he really has not gotten a chance because really Kenneth Walker has played well. And it was really surprising that the Seahawks drafted Charbonnet to begin with because I thought they didn't think of Walker or something, but it's Walker's played. Charbonnet has really seen little playing time in Seattle. I think, in the long term of it, Charbonnet is going to be a good keeper. But, the opportunities just have not been there in Seattle. With Walker going down, Charbonnet might get his chance to shine. I mean, we saw that in Cleveland, for instance, with Chubb going down. Ford has really another rookie who has really gotten a chance to shine and play well. Quarterbacks, Dobbs has to be the story of the year almost. I mean, Dobbs did fairly decent on Arizona, getting lots of fantasy points on Minnesota. I think, all Justin Jefferson owners were really worried about, hey, even if he does come back, Kirk Cousins isn't going to be passing the ball. But I think that Jefferson is going to be all right, and he's going to get just some points with Dobbs there. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. Going to be an interesting finish to the TPFFKAL today that I looked as well. These last 3 weeks, a lot of big games. This is not going to be a whole lot of like 1 versus 12, 2 versus 8. Chicken of the Cave has there's 3 weeks left. Chicken of the Cave, a playoff team, has to play 3 potential playoff teams. Everyone else has to play 2 potential playoff teams, except TOD. They only have to play one playoff team. So TOD has really got the easiest schedule of all the playoff teams at the end of the year, which should be interesting. Should be really interesting. So we're just waiting for our special guest here. Going to talk about a couple other things before we get him on. Going to talk just a little bit about the Waffle Bowl. And it looks like the Waffle Bowl right now, it looks like the Red Sharks are on their way. They are the favorite to win the Waffle Bowl and end up at a Waffle House. The Virginia Sea Dogs last year. I was watching TikTok videos of Waffle House fights today. And looking at the most ghetto Waffle Houses. And I didn't go to the Waffle House that Brian was at. Unfortunately, I was in Florida. I wish I was there. But, looking at the pictures from where I was and everything, that had to be the nicest fucking Waffle House I've ever seen in my life. Like, that was like a gorgeous Waffle House. I guarantee you that Brian sorted that all out. He probably had an Excel file on, Waffle House ratings, which Waffle House is the safest, which one to go to, and ended up at the safest, nicest Waffle House. Here is our special guest. Finally, Jimmy.
You said halftime, motherfucker.
I've been just bullshitting for minutes. Is it 14-7 still?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's going on?
What's up, man?
Oh, all kinds of things are going on. All kinds of things. I had a fun weekend. I'm gonna ask you one personal question first, and then we're gonna get to fantasy football a little bit. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Your wife is gorgeous.
Thank you.
How did you land a chick like that?
I'm a pretty charismatic motherfucker, Freddie. I don't know.
It might have something to do with the team name, maybe.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Perhaps.
I recognize that I married up. I get that a lot. So it must be true.
Such a nice girl, It's like and you were well behaved too. You were on like your best behavior. I was very proud of you. You're a very good boy around her. That's good. I need to take a page out of your book.
Husband. Did you say boyfriend? I think boyfriend. Yeah. I was.
Well, that's like, I've never been married, and God, who knows? We just take it one day at a time.
Yep.
Let's talk about the donkey dicks.
Mm-hmm.
It's like deja vu. Here we are again.
Yep.
You are in. You are going to be in after this week. It looks like you're still going to be in second. COC has 1,191 points. You're going to be in second, but you still have an opportunity here. Chicken in the Cave has to play 3 playoff teams the rest of the way down. You only have to play 2. It looks like you have every opportunity here to win the regular season title again.
Yep. Yeah, I told you at the beginning when we interviewed back then, I was like, I got a great team. I don't see any reason that I can't coast into the playoffs. I believe those were my words, that I should be able to coast into the playoffs.
I watched our interview, and that is exactly what you said.
Yeah. I was pretty confident. I was confident about how strong my team was then. I've kept 80% of my players, so it's all the people I kept and everybody I draft for the most part.
It's a and we talked about this at the beginning. You had some good keepers. I know, you got Hurts when Hurts really wasn't Hurts yet. You got ETN, or I think you got Waddle for cheap, and then you ended up trading for ETN, but
I got that trade now.
And now you got Waddle back. So, the one thing I want, you made some improvements to your team, and you got a ton of keepers here. A ton of potential keepers. I was surprised that Bowser got rid of Laporta.
I gave him fucking $15. He should be Bowser's doing what he's supposed to do. Fucking sell off for cash. And he did. I gave him a huge number. 15 is way more than Laporta should be on. But you paid 12 for who did you get? The tight end that you got?
Kittle.
So you set the market for everybody else. So that Kittle price fucked me. And that was exactly what Bowser was like. Kittle went for 12, and I was like, fuck.
I turned into Doug this year. My team was not that good. My team was not. I did not have a good team. No. I got way lucky. I won a bunch of games by I won 2 or 3 games by a point.
Yep.
And I'm sitting here looking at these other teams which are way better than me, and I just said I gotta risk it all. It's like I'm thinking about Waffle House 2025, but I'm in the hunt right now, baby.
Well, and you picked off Rich first, right? And it's like me with Doug a couple of years ago when when you and everybody else threw that big tantrum, remember that collective tantrum?
Absolutely. Yeah,
you
absolutely.
were number one, I believe, on throwing that tantrum, and you got to get in early on some of the fucking sellers and set the market, because that's exactly what you did. You set the market early on, and
that was the smart thing too, of Rich, to sell his team first, because he got max value for these players, because I got CD Lamb and I had 3 more weeks to use them. So it's like you're getting these players at the trade deadline, and there's just there's only 4 games left. So it's like you're not going to get as much, and it's like I want to get Danny on the show again and see if he's even alive or something, because it's like I don't think Danny sold anyone or did anything. It's like it's like Doug 2.0 almost.
I think he's muted all fucking conversations with everybody on our fucking thing. So
I was texting him and calling him for weeks.
So was I.
No response.
I have a few texts where I said, "Hey, who did he have? Who is his best guy? The running back,
Kamara."
Yeah, I was like, "Hey, Kamara would look really good in a Donkey Dicks uniform. What's it gonna take?" Crickets. Until like 7 p.m. of the day of the
trade deadline. Yeah, too little, too late.
He was responding so quickly. So I almost got like a faux poker game going that day, just so I could fucking lure him in.
You say the word poker, he's there.
Yeah, so I was gonna bait him however I would fucking get him however I could, and be like, make some trades, Danny. Yeah, I was thinking of everything. How can I get Danny to fucking respond?
Right. But I think that it was interesting. I think Bowser and Rich really set themselves up for next year. Let's talk a little bit about your fellow state compadre, the San Patricio Rock Throwers. Really wanted a lot for a little, almost. That's always been my experience with him, is I've never made a trade with him because he always wants something and it never gets done. And I think it kind of hit him in the ass this week too, because I offered him Garrett Wilson and $15 for Cooper Kupp, and he wanted 20 or something and wouldn't budge. And here we are. Kupp was great 2 years ago, but now he's got a high ankle sprain. He's probably going to be out for a while. It's like, thank God I didn't make that trade. And I'm not the only one who offered him for Kupp.
Oh, well, I know it was a bidding war between me, you, and Brian. We know that because I talked to Brian, and like he offered him 20. I offered him 20. He wanted 28, and I was like, no, just go ahead. We both. And so he was like, well, I could get this better deal from Freddie or Brian. And I was like, well, go ahead and do it then. I shrugged my head. I was like, go for it. I had Brian told him the same fucking, and then he comes back to me fucking 10 minutes later saying, well, okay, what about this? I'm like, I thought you had that over there, you fucking lying piece of shit. So you don't have anything. I just talked to Brian about this, and Brian and I we're fucking sharing the same story about like his negotiating skills are so fucking bad. They can't be like, I got a great deal over here, and we're like, go for it, and then come back working us down. Like, no, I can't beat that.
All I know is that like 11:55 p.m. comes around, and I see Neil on the text like, Kupp still available.
Brian, talk to Brian. We're doing the same thing. All three of us were texting Neil at 11:55 p.m. And he was still just fucking like, your team's in the shitter. You have no strategy, and like he's in the worst position, like just this average, just below average, no playoff team situation.
The Rock Throwers are destined to finish in 7th place every year.
Well, and he his strategy is like as if it's a snake draft. right? Because he wanted that for the same reason that he kept Chubb this year, which at $64 fucking dollars,
$64.
which makes no fucking. The only reason you do that is if you have like this snake draft mentality. Like Chubb would have gone for 50 in the
Yeah.
fucking.
Yeah.
It's like no way he goes for fucking 64.
Yeah.
See,
And look what happened. You know, he first week he's out for the year. And his, you know, it's like with running backs like that, his career might be over, you know?
And like for Cooper Kupp, I offered him $20. I think Brian did, and you take the $20 and you can buy Kupp in the auction next year and still have like $5 or $10 left over.
$20 is a lot of money. That's a lot of money for a player.
And like that's it. Like it's not. You still end up making out on the deal. Then he's gonna keep him for 35, I think, or something. I forget exactly how much he's gonna.
Yeah, he was pretty cheap because he was banged up, but you know, it's like he could have, you know, I mean, you know, he tossed in the towel. He knew he was out. He should have maximized some players. I don't think he got rid of anyone practically because, you know, but you know, hopefully Neil will learn, and who knows. So I got three questions that I needed to ask you. You improved your team. The one question I had is, you know, this guy is obviously keeper material. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle on the same team. Are you worried about that at all with, you know, one player, you know, hitting a ceiling and one player hitting a floor and them not being able to hit the ceiling in the same game or anything like that?
No. I look, when we're in it this deep, we're also doing it to keep players away from other teams.
Sure, absolutely.
That was part of my logic as well. It's like Waddle's out there. I can get him for $14. I got him for $14. And that means somebody else who's a little more desperate for a receiver isn't going to be able to get him.
Absolutely.
I was looking up the same way. I needed to get him so that nobody else could get him, or if they were going to overpay for him. So that was more of it. I would have gone to war with, you know, Deontay Johnson or Pickens, or like the other receiving corps that I would have been fine. But I didn't want one of you motherfuckers getting Waddle
Absolutely. And, you know, I wanted Waddle because I wanted to match Tua up with somebody.
Exactly. And even the Laporta situation is going to be the same thing. Like I'm going to have 6 or 7 keepers. If I sell off a couple of them in the off season, I'm going to be able to get some of my money back and hopefully still be around $200 for cap space. So that's the plan.
Now you're in great shape for the longevity. I made you an offer, Patrick Mahomes for Jalen Hurts.
Fuck you. Hurts is better. And by the way, you offered Patrick Mahomes and CeeDee Lamb for Hurts and Hill. Hurts and Hill are better than both of those individually. And yet you thought you were making me some great offer.
Lamb was on a roll, but yes, I wanted I don't know. I was going to give you I was going to trade anything for Jalen Hurts within reason, and I thought now I once I got Mahomes, I had to get rid of Tua ASAP or one of those guys. So
yeah, nobody. Good for you getting rid of him, dumping him to Champ. Champ took him. I don't think Saquon is. I think Saquon had a good game this week.
Yeah, good game this week.
I went to the game. It was great. I wouldn't. He's not going to be someone you're going to be able to rely on much.
No, but I mean, he's their whole offense right now, you know. So it's like, I mean, they got to have some kind of offense, and he's the only.
No, they haven't. They did it yesterday. They had an offense yesterday. They haven't had an offense in 3 weeks before that. So.
No, so it's like, you know, and it's like funny because all of a sudden I got, you know, I had 3 running backs on the bench that all went. I benched Montgomery, you know.
Yep.
And then my final question, and this is the big question. All right, you're going to be a consistent team. I mean, you're going, you know, you have a ton of keepers. You obviously know your fantasy stuff. I I have joked with you on the four falls of TDK. What happens in the playoffs this year? How are you going to get over that hump and get to the Pantheon Cup?
You know, it's very, this is going to be an even harder year because those top 5 teams, 6 teams, all 6 teams are pretty fucking stacked.
Yeah.
So I went back and I was looking at everybody. I think BMAC's team is the will be the toughest one because he's so solid at running back. But I think any one of us could win and any one of us could lose. So I was way more confident the last 2 years than I am this year.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, and we talked about this in the last interview. Getting that first round bye, I think, is just so huge because it's like, to win when you don't have the bye, you got to win 3 fantasy football games, and that's hard to do against any teams. In anything to do that against in this league with 3 good teams that you're playing, that's hard to do. Winning 2 sounds a lot more easier.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be exciting, but I think that you are and the funny thing is it's like how the schedule kind of worked out is there you have 2 games against top 6 teams. I know Sean has 3 games against top 6 teams. Luckily, I only have 1. But it's like, it's going to be a race to get that first round bye. And I do think that whoever one of the 2 teams that gets that bye is going to win. That's what I do think.
Has it been that way the last years? I don't remember. Did you have a bye?
Yeah, it has. Yeah, Rich got the bye the first year with you and ended up winning. And me and you got the bye last year. Ended up winning. So it has. I mean, very hard to do it. And I've seen that in a lot of leagues where it's like, very rarely you see a team, that in a 6 playoff format that doesn't have a bye that wins. It's hard to do. Yeah.
No, I mean, I want that bye just badly, right? Like, and getting the bye gets you guaranteed money too. So
absolutely,
you're almost break even, and it's
absolutely.
all for. So not like that. Not like the $200 is going to break any one of us, but it's
right.
It's good to know that at least breaking even and you're playing with
we want the bragging rights.
Huh?
I want the bragging rights.
I want the fucking bragging rights. I want to win this. And like to be this consistent and be this solid all around, only to come up short, it's fucking kind of sucks ass. But
absolutely.
I don't want to. I think we're all doing it to fucking avoid getting or hearing it from your ass more than anything. I wouldn't.
Right. Oh, if I win this 2 times in a row, the league might fold. Right.
We might all just like figure out a way to. I might drop Jalen Hurts at the end of the season.
Right. It's gonna be great if it happens.
Yeah, I'll fucking drop Jalen Hurts and just be like, I just dropped him.
Right.
If James picks him up and beats you with him, then fuck it.
Right.
I'm gonna throw it in. I'm gonna mail it in so hard. Collusion at its best. It's gonna happen.
It will be a wonderful day. Well, Jimmy, thanks for coming on the show again. I invited Neil on. He didn't come on.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're going to get some more people on. I wanted to get Brian on. I told him that we wouldn't talk about the last 2 weeks at all, so I'm trying to get him on. So, hopefully we'll get some of these contenders and some of these waffle people on in the next couple weeks. And, hey, good luck to the rest of your season. I know you're going to do well. I hope to see you in the playoffs. And,
no doubt. It's maybe where in the playoffs we'll meet if we meet at all.
TOD versus TDK will be exciting.
Absolutely. All right, brother.
Buzz. Enjoy the second half. Go Eagles.
Thanks. Talk to you.
All right, bud. Bye.